evening. You are tuned to KGVM Bozeman. We are Gallatin Valley Community Radio. We're on your FM dial at 95.9 if your radio still has a dial. And we're online at kgvm.org. It's time now for the local musician spotlight. Once again, we're excited to be out in the music box with Pat Loken of Loken Productions. And we're joined tonight by the Canoe Dealers. Thanks for coming in.
Howdy.
Hi.
Wonder if you guys just introduce yourselves just in case there's somebody out there who doesn't know who the Canoe Dealers are.
Sure.
Well, this is Lena Schiffer.
And this is Ryan Aker to my right.
All right.
Yeah, we are the Canoe Dealers.
Yep.
Great to have you in the studio.
Our first radio
Yeah. This
interview
is
as a
the
band.
first one.
Nice. If I knew more about it, we'd make this into one of those non-fungible tokens, and maybe we could all get rich off of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk about it after the show.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, I wonder, the question that begs to be asked probably first is, where did the name the Canoe Dealers come from?
Yeah, we get that question often, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
I don't know. You tell it well.
Gosh, I don't know if I want to spill the beans on the air.
I think we can.
Oh, sure.
We started out this project not telling anyone exactly where the Canoe Dealer name came from, but people started figuring it out, and now it's become it's a fun little story to tell people.
So, Lane and I are a couple. We're dating. And before, maybe 2019, we were playing shows together as just, Lena Schiffer and Ryan Aker. And we were joking after one show. We were like, we need a band name because this is getting kind of serious. We need to take it to the next level. And Lena suggested the Canoe Dealers, like, two people kissing, canoodling or whatever. And then I was like, what about the Canoe Dealers? Kind of like the Lumineers, kind of playing off that name or something like that. So we typed it into Google, to see if anybody else had the name by any chance. And Google corrected it to, did you mean Canoe Dealers? And we're like, yes, we did.
Exactly what I meant.
And it's funny, some people get it immediately. They get the play on words immediately. And some people are just so confused by it.
Yeah,
and they
why?
They
I don't. Canoe
don't
Dealers.
understand.
What do you mean? Do you have canoes? Turns out we do have a canoe now,
have
but
a canoe.
we're not selling
you're,
it.
You're not putting it on the market.
Yeah, our business model is one-sided.
Yeah.
It's sort of like instruments, musical instruments.
Oh, absolutely.
At least in my experience, that's the way they work.
Now that we got one, I don't know if we're going to get rid of it.
That's how our quote-unquote serious band name came about.
Yeah.
The Googles know everything, so.
Yeah, they do.
I'm pretty sure we're the only Canoe
wanted.
Dealers out there. Yeah. We're joking, though, wouldn't it be funny if people start emailing us asking for canoes?
Prices.
So we might double down on our business model. We'll see.
Send them out price quotes for a canoe and just add on a line item at the end for a house concert.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Comes with concert.
That's right. Here's a canoe and 3 CDs.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you both are involved with other musical projects in the area, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I'm in a folk band called Laney Lou and the Bird Dogs. We've been around for about 8 years now. We're going on 8 years this August. We play all over, and we've been full-time touring for about 3 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
New album close to dropping?
Yes, we have a brand new album. We're actually going to play a couple of the songs, a duo version of the songs tonight. It's called Through the Smoke, and it's coming out June 18th. We have a show at Pine Creek Lodge as our album release show. So,
nice.
It gave us something to do during this past year off. We went to California and recorded. It's our 5th album, actually. Wow. Yeah, so we're really excited to share it with people.
Nice.
And I am a founding member of a bluegrass folk band from Minnesota called The Last Revel, which is kind of how I got to know the state of Montana in general. We'd tour out here, and some of our first shows was like Red Ant's Pants, and we'd play the filling station in Pine Creek, and we have a lot of history out here. And since moving out here, I've been doing a lot more solo work, and I put out a record last year, and I'm putting the finishing touches on another solo record now, and just recently put together a trio, myself and 2 other musicians I've been playing with for some shows this summer. So looking forward to that as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Were the albums kind of in the works prior to the lockdown, or did they spring to life this past year?
From myself personally, it sprung to life in the last year. You know, the first couple months of lockdown, I was personally kind of in like creative shock. It was tough to sit down and think about anything else other than what was tangibly going on in the world. But as that kind of faded and we kind of hit our groove throughout last year, and it definitely kind of opened up the floodgates. And by the end of last year, I mean, myself personally, I was sitting on another batch of songs ready to roll. So,
Nice.
Yeah, and for Lainey Lou and the Bird Dogs, we knew we wanted to record an album this year. I think if we had been full-time touring still, it wouldn't have turned out the way it did. I think it was a silver lining of having a lot of time off was we actually ended up coming to the studio with about 22 song ideas versus, you know, kind of like, oh, what 8 songs or 9 songs do we have? It was actually like we were prolific, and we also had to get over the shock of having all of our shows canceled and whatnot. But once we started practicing, it gave us months of time to write, to weed through things, to talk with our producer more. It gave us time to kickstart and fundraise for the album, and it also gave us 2 weeks in a studio. So it's sort of like a silver lining having this much time off. I believe we all took advantage of it the best we could.
Yeah.
We did not sit idle.
And that's kind of how this project got started as well. I mean, we were playing music together prior to the lockdown, but I mean, this essentially just kind of came as a home recording project at first. You know, we joke, even though it's kind of serious, like we spent all of our government money on recording gear. spent a lot of time recording at home this year, and really learning that craft and kind of getting more comfortable with what it takes to record at home. And last year put out a cover song of a Bob Dylan song called "You Ain't Going Nowhere" that we kind of did our own version of, and. Yeah, that's kind of been that's kind of how we needed. I was like, oh well, we need to like actually be a band and have a band name if we're going to do this and release music. So the releasing of music kind of prompted us to take it slightly more seriously.
Yeah. So lots of recording.
Yeah. One more question. I've got like all these questions swirling around my head. When you've released recordings in the past, how much do you like to play the material out before you record it?
I think it's a great question.
Yeah.
I think everyone has an opinion about it. With my band and with Ryan, so far we've just done covers, so we'll play them out and about and kind of test them out.
Yeah.
That's not a huge deal. But with Bird Dogs and original material, we do play them because it helps us really work through the song and kind of figure out what we think works and how the crowd reacts. But this time we didn't have that. So there are 7 songs on our album that have never been heard by anyone. And so I actually liked that process too. I'd say we've done it both ways now, and I think it maybe just depends on what you're feeling.
The song
Yeah, sometimes you might hold a song back. Just if you're playing a big show and you're not ready to release it, then I think holding back is just fine, and it makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I have definitely used the last year playing songs that I intended to record and kind of like shaping them and gauging reactions from people listening and stuff like that. And it's definitely a helpful tool to me. I've never felt personally like I need to hide or keep anything close to the chest. I might feel differently if I had, millions of fans or something like that.
That's what
but
I was gonna say.
I'm not super concerned with like the 15 people who know who I am. So
Yeah, if anything, they just get more excited when it actually gets recorded. Like we've had people asking my band, the Bird Dogs, if a certain song will be one of those 4 that they have heard. When is that song Highline going to be recorded? And I get to say, it's like going to be on this next album.
Yeah.
So that's good in its own way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wonder if you guys want to play a couple songs. I've asked
Sure.
plenty of questions. We should get to some music here.
all right.
Yeah, kind of in that vein of home recording, we're going to start with a Townes Van Zandt tune that we're working on recording right now.
Yeah.
It's actually recorded. It's just being mixed. So that will be released at some point this summer.
The song's called "I'll Be Here in the Morning."
No stronger wind than the one that blows down a lonesome railroad line. No prettier sight than looking back at the town you left behind. There's nothing that's as real as the love that's in my mind. So close your eyes, I'll be here in the morning. Close your eyes, I'll be here for a while. A lot of sights along the road I'd surely like to see. Like to lean into the wind, tell myself I'm free. But your softest whisper's louder than the highway calls to me. So close your eyes, I'll be here in the morning. Close your eyes, I'll be here for a while. The mountains and the rivers and the valleys can't compare to your bluely dancing eyes and yellow shiny hair. I just can't hit the open road and leave it lying there. So close your eyes, I'll be here in the morning. Close your eyes, I'll be here for a while. Love and close your crying eyes. I'll be there beside you when that sun comes to rise. And I'll stay as long as the cuckoo wails and the lonesome blue jay flies. So close your eyes, I'll be here in the morning. Close your eyes, I'll be here for a while. Close your eyes, I'll be here in the morning. Close your eyes, I'll be here for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's, I'll be here in the morning. I think.
A little switcheroo here.
Yeah, we're going to go into an original tune here. When you're at home, you have all your instruments at your disposal. And then you try and do it live, and you're like, oh, yeah, we kind of made that complicated on ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to do a song that I wrote back in June or July, and it's called Reeling, and it's one that we recorded with the Bird Dogs, but Ryan and I have enjoyed playing it as well. And it's sort of about just feeling a little overwhelmed, which people can probably relate to, and feeling a little lost in that feeling, and feeling cycles repeat themselves. So this is called Reelin'. There we go.
Finally found the bottom, didn't stay long at the top. Fine with no problems. Now we're drowning in loss. Again and again and again and again. Back to where we started. I'm the one who had to mend pieces that were broken.
Nice.
Thank you. That's reeling.
You could maybe subtitle that anthem for 2020 or
Yes.
something.
I know. 2020 made it easy to write songs that are relatable.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know if you were doing banjo.
Do you want us to play one more? Or?
Sure, yeah.
Sure, okay.
All right. Well, this next tune is another one that I wrote, but this one is from a few years ago. And it's your typical breakup song. It's called Time or Tears. And my band, the Bird Dogs, we recorded it on our last studio album, which was called Sweet Little Lies. And at that point, Ryan and I were dating long distance, and I remember him showing him this voice memo of this song, being like, I don't know, I've kind of just like had this chorus in my head for a long time, and I don't know if it's anything. And I just remember you being like, you should absolutely play that. And sure enough, it just turned into one of my favorite
Glad it
songs
worked
that
out.
the Bird Dogs play. So
I just, second guessing or hindsight is 2020. But when you're just getting a relationship going, playing the lyrics for a breakup song might be a little, introduce
that's
some
why
confusion.
Ryan's the best.
It was par for the course. It still is.
It is. Total transparency.
Yeah, it's nice having Lena as a partner as a sounding board for songwriting. And I think we both benefit from that in the sense where we can just share ideas with each other. And even if they're not great, it's still nice to.
It's nice to get the brutal, honest reaction if it's not great.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wanted me to love you, tried so hard to love you back. You showed me all your problems, tried so hard to cut you slack. You used to stand high on a mountain, used to think we saw eye to eye. Thought we once were strong as a lion, waited too long. Hadn't had time or tears for that. Years to waste on being off track. And I don't wanna fight when you look at me like that. So let me go. So let me go. Freedom to grow tall and lean, wasn't asking for a bended knee. And all my words were silent, and all I wanted was to scream. And I don't have time or tears for that. Years to waste on being off track. And I don't wanna fight when you look at me like that. So let me go. So let me go.
So I'm always curious, people that write songs. You said you ended up with a lot of material by the end of, in the last year. After the first couple months of like the initial shock and awe, if you want to call it that, was the writing just a lot more prolific, or?
For myself personally, it took a lot of time. I think like summer of last year, I wrote one song, and that once I broke that seal, I think it kind of came a lot easier. And then towards this past winter, and maybe that's just like a cyclical thing with myself. It's like I feel more creative in the fall and the winter than I do in the summer.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
And I'm assuming the pandemic didn't help that situation at all. But it definitely kind of felt, it ramped up into a floodgate kind of thing by the winter, I think, for myself personally.
Yeah, it also helped. We had some friends who are musicians, and we started doing a small little songwriting group. And that actually really helped. Like when you are in a songwriting group, there's almost less accountability, or there's accountability, but less pressure for the song to be something. It's sort of like, oh, I have a week to write a song. And my friends there's the accountability of my friends who are going to hear it next week, but then it doesn't necessarily need to be for something. And that kind of helped me write a few more songs this year. Just getting that, like, it's like working a muscle. It's like just writing a song. And once, like he said, once you get going, you tend to write them in batches, at least for us. And right now it's like, oh no, I'm in a dry patch. I need to go write some more songs. So
one of the problems of being a musician in Montana is there's so many fun things to do in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like sitting in my room with my guitar sometimes when it's sunny and 75, 80 degegrees finally.
Yeah.
So
in those 3 days when you could get out of the river or go hiking
Exactly.
or climbing.
Exactly.
Last summer we had no excuse. We had all the time, but we were still out fishing a lot.
Yeah, well.
It was a good balance.
It was
though.
good. Yeah.
Do you think that the songs that you did write, were they affected by the situation? Do you think you ended up with like more like a different tone than you maybe usually would, or?
I think I did. Yes. I think it was, again, it's a silver lining. I think it really helped my songwriting in some ways. And I don't know if it's just because of the subject matter, but again, I wasn't just writing for one project. I was sort of just gave myself a little more creative freedom, which is sort of hard to do sometimes when you start like branding yourself with different bands and stuff. You start writing a certain way. And for me, I think it was helpful for me to like loosen up on those reins that nobody's putting on me except myself.
Yeah.
But just having the time and like really having stuff to like get down on paper, I think it did affect my writing style quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I think I'm assuming a lot of people can kind of relate this in the past year. I think we've had a lot of time and a lot of reason to kind of look introspectively at who we are. And I think everybody has a valid excuse to be as existential as they want. It's like, oh, you want to change your career? That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you want to move somewhere else? That totally makes sense. And I think my writing definitely reflected that, where I spent a lot of time just thinking about, the instances in my life that have brought me to where I am, and kind of just putting those down in a song. And I think, I imagine that a lot of people have felt that way about, when the world changes in a certain way, you kind of look inward as much as you look outward.
I think that's a really good way to put it, is the existentialism, because, if you listen to the songs that my band put on this new album, sure, you can totally look at them and be like, I bet they wrote that in the pandemic. But really, it wasn't like because we wrote about the pandemic. It's because topics came up, and same with his songs. It's like stuff comes up to the surface when you have a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like, sure, absolutely, this last year off did affect how we wrote, but it's not because we wrote about COVID,
Right,
Yeah.
Or
So,
wrote about just feeling bad because of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's more like, oh, we're just having a lot of time to think about where we're at in
More
our lives.
self-examination.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to be like ninja psychiatrist or something to try to separate those factors out, right? It's like, well,
Absolutely.
how much of it was just existential dread, and how much of it was, well, I have more time and more time to introspect, and
Yeah,
that's interesting.
absolutely.
When you're when you're writing, do you start out thinking about, like, you've got some different projects going on? Do you think, oh, I want to, I've got some time to write. Do I sit down to write a Bird Dog song, or do you just start writing and then figure out where it might go from there?
I think that's what I was talking about with like putting boundaries on myself. I don't think I should do that anymore, because now like it's actually really nice having Canoe Dealers as a project, and a very good example of not putting boundaries on myself is I did write a song that maybe will make it into the world at some point, and it didn't. It's going to, and it didn't seem to fit with Canoe Dealers. I wrote it just like, here's a song. I liked it. It spoke to me. I didn't want to just like push it off to the side. I started writing it on piano, and I was like, this isn't really like a Bird Dog song, but I don't really see doing it with Canoe Dealers. I guess it's just mine. And I ended up reaching out to my friend Ian, who has a group called, his solo project is called Headphone Hair, which I'm demonstrating right now. He's in, I went to college with him. He's in Oakland, Berkeley area, and he does pop music. And I sent him the song, and I was like, I think this is a pop song. And so we're collaborating now, and it just totally took me by surprise, but I'm just going with it. And so I think, to answer your question, it's better to just not go in thinking it's going to be for something, because you can find a spot for it if you think the song is worth it,
Right.
Yeah.
Just let it be what it is, and then figure out where it's going to grow up.
Yeah, so stay tuned for Pop Lena.
Hell yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah, that's one advantage of being a solo musician is there's not really like a niche I need to necessarily follow, and I think I lend myself a little like more freedom to just kind of just let whatever flow happen. Yeah. And now it's kind of nice playing. I'm nice playing with a drummer and a bass player for this trio that I'm working on for some solo shows this summer. Where it kind of sparks that idea of like, okay, well, I'm writing for a group again. And that I've already kind of felt it change the way I look at my musicianship and the next step and writing the next project and stuff like that. I have musicians in mind now. I have a sound in mind versus when it's just me in my room with my acoustic guitar, which has been the last two records.
Yeah, so you write a little differently.
Yeah, it has had an influence on me, that's for sure.
Have you guys done any co-writing yet?
A lot of the songs that are on our upcoming projects, respectively, I think we've kind of helped each other out with quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call it like co-writing, really. It's more influencing, maybe.
Yeah, like especially when you reach the self-doubt phase, and I'm like, I'm not ready to play this for anyone, but I'm going to play it for you, so you can help me decide if I am on any sort of track or not. Yeah. And that's what happened with Highline, which we'll play a couple songs from now. And I knew I liked it, but he came in and kind of helped me like hear this melody, and it absolutely influenced the song. So like Canoe Dealers have not sat down and written a song, but we are absolutely in each other's music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then figuring out how to play each other's solo songs as a duo, like it just takes on a different form than when he's doing it solo, or when like you don't play, we're going to play Iron and Ore next, which is one of his songs. And when he plays solo, he plays it on guitar, but he'll play it on a banjo.
Yeah.
And so it just sort of like, the song becomes a Canoe Dealers version of that song.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Maybe down the road, who knows what happens next. Our respectively, like our focus creatively is on, Bird Dogs, and I'm doing the solo thing now, and that's kind of where like 100% of the creative effort goes for the moment. But who knows what happens next? I mean,
yeah.
I would like to put out some original music as Canoe Dealers someday.
Yeah,
it'll happen. When that day comes, we got all the time in the world.
We're getting married this year, so we are Canoe Dealers forever. As long as we want it to be a project, it can be a project.
Right. So we get all the time. That's right.
Cool. Yeah. If people are just tuning in, you're listening to the Local Musician Spotlight. We're in the Music Box here with Loken Productions. Pat Loken, thanks again for everything. The space, Pat. Setting everything up, doing all the sound, the video. And if you are more visually inclined than I am, This is live streaming, and if you're listening to it on the radio, you're probably not watching it on the internet. But you can go in after the fact. If you go to YouTube and look for Loken Productions, there are a lot of great videos on there. So I heartily encourage you to fall down that rabbit hole and find all sorts of good stuff. So, and we're here with the Canoe Dealers, and
Yeah.
you want to
Play
play some more?
Sure.
All right.
We're going to do a song of Ryan's. It's a song called Iron and Ore that he wrote a few years ago for The Last Revel. Many years ago. For The Last Revel, which it's a band based out of Minneapolis. And
I guess technically I'm still in the band. Well, no, I think we're taking a long overdue break. So, got too many things going on here. Okay. Yeah, I wrote this song many years ago. When I was living in Minnesota, there's a part of northern Minnesota called the Boundary Waters. And there's always been issues with large-scale mining in that area. And it's one of the most beautiful, remote parts of the Midwest. And this is my 22-year-old version of a little protest song when it comes to Just get this in.
It's kind of a cruel trick of nature to hide all of that ore under the really nice places.
yeah, totally.
Right.
You couldn't have stuck it out in the middle of Wyoming or something.
There's
Oh,
some.
there
nice
is
places in
some
Wyoming,
there,
but yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way it goes, that's for sure.
Probably going to be getting hate mail from Wyoming listeners. But
Okay, yeah. Here's Iron and Ore. Here we go.
Walk through the stream, dressed to your knees. Cold water melts from the snow. Awake in the night, the silence like freedom. We've been through what no one can know. The leaves on the trees, they're cursing at me. How could she love you anymore? Selflessly given, or viciously driven, her hammer and ripped through the floor. Rip through the floor like iron and ore. This isn't a war, it's already won. North country mines, they take what was given and cleave from that natural land. Hidden agendas have made that decision, not that North country man. The letters she sent, written in pen, between the lines there was more. Lyrically gifted but cleverly twisted, her hammer and ripped through the floor. Rip through the floor like iron and ore. This isn't a war, it's already won.
All right. It's blood pumping.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this next tune that we're going to do is called Highline. That's the one that I was just saying Ryan helped kind of in the very beginning stages of this song. Well, really, he helped influence the song on multiple levels. I wrote it when I was up on the Highline on Highway 2. A lot of people who aren't from Montana don't know that reference. I've been asked if I'm talking about the high tide line or the high water mark. But anyway, I was literally on Highway 2, lots of open space, lots of time to think about things, and I was on my way to visit Ryan when we were still doing the long distance thing, and he was playing with The Last Rebel in Whitefish. And a train and I were kind of just going along at the same speed, and you know how a train kind of like makes you feel like you're actually going slower than you are? So that inspired this tune. Had some time to think about it.
All right. This one's on the new Bird Dog record, correct?
It is.
There you go.
I'm on the Highline, it's a slow ride when I'm chasing time to make it back to you. When my eyes are tired of that endless sky, my mind shies away from the truth. My patience seems to slow while the miles seem to grow. Find my way through the lonesome blue. I'm on the Highline, it's a slow ride when I'm chasing time to make it back to you. Straight as a crow flies over county lines, find my way through the lonesome blue. Some days I fall behind, turning a blind eye. Wonder if I'm playing a fool. Out on the skyline, I see far and wide. Changing of the tides is coming soon. Adding pavement to the road, burning days until there's smoke. Finding my way through the blue. And I'm on the Highline, it's a slow ride when I'm chasing time to make it back to you. Straight as a crow flies over county lines, find my way through the lonesome blue. I'm on the Highline. I'm on the Highline. I'm on the Highline. And I'm on the Highline. I'm on the Highline, it's a slow ride, chasing time to make it back to you. Straight as a crow flies over county lines, find my way through the lonesome blue. And I'm on the Highline, it's a slow ride when I'm chasing time to make it back to you. Straight as a crow flies over county lines, find my way through the lonesome blue.
I like that, crossing the county line straight as the crow flies. That's the highlight, all right.
Thank you. Yeah, right?
I remember one time driving across there and then coming down to go through Jordan, and I'm sure I drove for over an hour and never saw another person. So it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of that double-edged sword of Montana, isn't it?
That's
I mean,
right.
it's really beautiful in so many ways. It was like a bluebird day when I was doing that, and you end up starting to go into the glacier area, and it's amazing. I love the open, big sky country.
Yeah. I think it's
You
funny
feel
when
it
people
there.
ask about talking about the high tide liners. It was like, that's about the polar opposite of the
Yeah.
high line.
Yeah, go pretty much to Canada
Can't
and
get
just
much
drive
farther from the
straight.
ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should we do one more?
Sure, yeah.
Sure. Okay. We are going to do another new one of mine. It's one of those songs. Oh, that's why it's not doing it. I have a pick right here. It's another one that I wrote. I wrote it before having all this time off, but it feels oddly relevant for the pandemic times. So it's a little song about going through a tough time, but also knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. It's called Up for Air. One, two, three, four. Sky falling dark, thunder shook, lightning struck, fell torn apart from the womb, a naked heart. Well, laugh at me, make me bear, shake me to the bones that are standing here, take me to the place where I cannot care. Didn't choose to land just anywhere. Oh, come up for air. Come up for air. Fear, come in pain, empty hole, hollow ache. Shouting at the thunder, hear the wisdom of the wise, calling for surrender, hold my arms out wide. Well, laugh at me, make me bear, shake me to the bones that are standing here, take me to the place where I cannot care. Didn't choose to land just anywhere. The dark storm will take you there, hold you up in a silent prayer. I'm not here because I'm not there, and I didn't choose to land just anywhere. Didn't choose to land just anywhere. Well, laugh at me, make me bear, shake me to the bones that are standing here, take me to the place where I cannot care. Didn't choose to land just anywhere. The dark storm will take you there, hold you up in a silent prayer. I'm not here because I'm not there, and I didn't choose to land just anywhere. Didn't choose to land just anywhere. I didn't choose to land just anywhere.
You said that's on the new album.
Yeah, the last two ones, Highline and Up for Air, are both on the Bird Dog album. So yeah, that's out June 18th. You can buy a physical CD in hand
Nice.
on June 18th. Yeah,
Yeah, and you guys did a Kickstarter to start the process for that one.
we did. Yes, eternally grateful to all of our fans who support us for Kickstarter funds. They really make the difference between us being able to do it and not. So yeah, yeah.
No, are you thinking about pressing any vinyl or?
We are, yeah.
Right.
It's actually been ordered, but vinyl these days takes about 3 months. So yeah, it's kind of excruciating. You have to wait that long, but I mean, it'll be ready in August or September, hopefully. So yeah, we did that with our last album, Sweet Little Lies, and it's definitely worth it. People love it, and yeah, it's great.
Cool.
Yeah, so CDs. Some people still listen to CDs. Some people still do vinyl. We're not doing tape cassette, but
No 8-tracks?
No
No
8-tracks. It'll be streaming eventually. We're going to do a bunch of single releases. So yeah, we'll have to send them over to KGVM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Gonna-
sure.
Keep her going?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, boy. There we go. This is a song I wrote the middle of last year. I think it was actually probably the first one that kind of broke the seal for me in my writing slump that was the first half of the pandemic. The song's called Heavy Horns, and it's going to be on my new record, and I'm not entirely sure when it's going to be out yet, but I'm hoping before the end of the year. That's my... But this song... not without saying too much, the song is about having the courage to let go of something when you don't want to let go. So, here we go.
Tongues of silver, tongues of gold, tongues of fire buried deep within the stone. Holy rock, don't ever let me go. Tongues of silver, tongues of gold. I needed something like a bird, a 9-pound hammer, hold me down. Heavy horns are swinging back and forth in time. They wear me down. Hail to these heavy horns. Leave the wood stacked by the door. Busted pine, woodcutter's daily chore. I live alone, but I can't tell what for. Leave the wood stacked by the door. Brother, help me, I'm not well. This wicked world we built is walking me through hell. Holy Spirit, take me in a spell. Brother, help me, I'm not well. I needed something like a bird, a 9-pound hammer, hold me down. Heavy horns are swinging back and forth in time. They wear me down. Hail to these heavy horns. I needed something like a bird, a 9-pound hammer, hold me down. Heavy horns are swinging back and forth in time. They wear me down. Hail to these heavy horns. Hail to these heavy horns.
One to keep an eye out for.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorites he's ever written.
She might be a little biased.
I'm biased, but I don't know. Well, yeah, this next one that we're going to do is the first song that we released as Canoe Dealers, and it was released back in August. We decided to do a cover of a Bob Dylan tune. which I know it's kind of like, oh, everybody covers Bob Dylan, but Ryan actually has kind of a cool story about it.
So, man, it must have been March of 2020. So we're like just in the first stages of all this going down. And I had a dream about this Bob Dylan song, "You Ain't Going Nowhere." And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I had a dream about this song, and it wasn't like the happy-go-lucky original version. And if anybody's listening out there knows what I'm talking about, it's a great Bob Dylan song. The original version's amazing, but it's really kind of joyous and tongue-in-cheek and happy. And the version that I dreamt was kind of sad and kind of dark and earnest, and there was like a struggle to it. And I woke up the next day, and I told Lena about it, and we arranged the song in like maybe 5 minutes. It was like the first time we played through it.
Yeah, it's like a different chord progression, and the harmony just like, it was like that. We both knew the song already because we both played that song in the sort of more happy, joyous way before.
Mm-hmm. And it was honestly kind of spooky the way it came together. Like, I've never had anything quite like that happen to me before. So it felt, when we started playing it in some of the shows we had last year, and people seemed to really dig it, and we personally really dig playing it. So we figured it was a great one to record to kind of showcase, stepping forward as Canoe Dealers, releasing music in the future, whether it's covers or original, we're trying to do things kind of our own way. Yeah. And this is kind of the best example we can give about what we kind of want to do. It's like, we might be playing covers in our set, but we're doing things our own way. Mm-hmm. And it was a blast to record, and I'm still really happy and proud about the way it turned out. So if you
can find it,
you can listen to it. You can go stream it on all your streaming services right now if you want. So
I feel like I need to tell this quick side note before we play it, though. About the name Canoe Dealers and how someone found that song. Ryan had this guy message him on Instagram, and he was looking for some new music, right? Sometimes you're just like, okay, what am I going to look for? And he's Canadian, and he's like, what's the most Canadian? He wanted like folk music, and he's like, what's like the most Canadian folk thing I can think of? Like, and he came up with a canoe. So he typed canoe into Spotify and found Canoe Dealers.
Because of it, yeah.
And therefore, he found Ryan's solo music. We only had the one song out. So he listened to that, and then he found Ryan and really loved Ryan's music. So it was just, I don't know, I love that story. So this song has already made us...
The power of the internet.
This has made us one fan in Canada so far.
If he's listening out there.
Yes, hello.
But here's our interpretation of "You Ain't Going Nowhere." You ready? Mm-hmm.
Clouds so swift and the rain won't lift, railings froze and the gate won't close. Get your mind off the winter time, you ain't going nowhere. You're going nowhere. Ooh-wee, riding me high. Tomorrow's the day that my bride's gonna come. Oh Lord, we're gonna fly down in that easy chair, down in that easy chair. I don't care how many letters you sent. The morning came and the morning went. Pack up your money, pack up your tent. You ain't going nowhere. You're going nowhere. Buy me a flute and a gun that shoots, tailgates and substitutes. Strap yourself to a tree with roots, 'cause you ain't going nowhere. You're going nowhere. Ooh-wee, riding me high. Tomorrow's the day that my bride's gonna come. Oh Lord, we're gonna fly down in that easy chair, down in that easy chair. Genghis Khan could not keep
all his men supplied with sleep. Climb that mountain no matter how steep, as we get up to it. Gonna get up to it. Ooh-wee, riding me high. Tomorrow's the day that my bride's gonna come. Oh Lord, we're gonna fly down in that easy chair. Down in that easy chair.
That's great.
Thank you.
I love when people do a cover and like it's substantially different. Like,
Yeah, flip it on.
yeah,
its head
you
a little.
might remember that other song and hook them together, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah, no, it's funny watching people's reactions. They're like, I know this.
I've heard this before.
Usually when you get to the Genghis Khan line, people are like, "Oh yeah, that's a Bob Dylan song."
Yeah.
But I think that's something I love about. I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan, and that's something I love about Bob Dylan is, you can take his lyrics and you can kind of turn the angle just a little bit, and just look at it from a different angle, just slightly, and it changes the whole color of the whole scene. Because to me now, when I sing that song, it's I see a different scene in my head.
Mm-hmm.
There's a different narrative now in my head than there was before, and I think that's something that's a true testament of like great art, great poetry,
Yeah.
great songwriting. So you can change it a little bit, and it takes on this whole new form. It's like multi-layered, and I don't know. That's my little Bob Dylan spiel.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on it. I wonder if people want to know where they might be able to find you or find your music and stuff, where they
Yeah.
might look.
Sure. So if you stream music, you can find us on there as the Canoe Dealers. I have solo music out there under my name, which is Ryan Aker. My last name is spelled Acker. And the bluegrass band I'm a part of is called The Last Revel. And
You can find me right now with Canoe Dealers or Lainey Lou and the Bird Dogs online, and our website, as well as the Last Rebel website and Ryan's website. We all have CDs for sale, vinyl for sale, all that stuff.
we
And
do
then-
have some shows this
Yeah,
summer together.
yeah.
We're both busy with other, obviously our other projects and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think of a couple off the top of my head.
Well, we're at Pine Creek this Sunday for
Yeah.
brunch, and we're playing with the Kitchen Dwellers on Friday as an after party, but
Only if you're up
Brunch.
until like 1 in the morning.
yeah, only if you're up late and can brave the rain. But we're doing brunch this Sunday at Pine Creek, and we have a show at the Tune Up Bar and Follow Your Nose Barbecue in July.
We generally post all that stuff on social media if you're on there.
Yeah.
You can find us, at the Canoe Dealer, or just Canoe Dealers, actually.
Yeah.
But
All
Yeah.
right. Cool.
Yeah, just all the social media,
Yep,
It's
all
the
the way
it
best
goes
way. And then
these
from
days.
there, you find the websites and
Yeah.
the music and whatnot. So yeah, and stay tuned for like a couple more releases. We're gonna release a couple more cover songs, and who knows? I mean, we've been doing some other stuff too, so
yeah.
it's an ongoing project.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming in tonight. Thanks for tuning in to KGVM Bozeman, the local musician spotlight, or watching it on YouTube. And if you're watching it on YouTube, there's a subscribe button there on Loken Productions. Click that thing and find some other great tunes. So
Absolutely.
stay tuned and join us next week. We'll have something else great going on.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
guys
for having us.
yeah.
Thank you, Pat and Bob. Yeah, we had a blast.
A lot of fun.
We'll see you around.